A place where time seems to stand still, modern life has no place, and people live as if it were 1850. This is the Mennonite community, one of the most isolated societies on the planet. Did you know that in Mennonite culture, all the most important events take place in a barn? Even courtship, where every meeting between couples must follow specific dates and times. Many people might still confuse the Amish with the Mennonites. So what is the secluded life of the Mennonites really like? And why do they choose to live differently from the rest of society? We'll reveal everything in today's video. When you think of the Mennonites, you might picture a community living entirely off the grid, disconnected from modern technology. While it's true that some traditional Mennonite groups avoid certain technologies like the internet or smartphones, this isn't the case for every community. For the more conservative, Mennonites are cautious about technology because of their commitment to simplicity, community, and faith. They believe certain technologies could distract from these values. However, many Mennonite communities have integrated modern technology into their lives, but on their own terms. You'll find that computers, cell phones, and even cars are quite common in many Mennonite communities today. The key is how they use them, focusing on tools that support communication, education, and work, while ensuring these technologies don't interfere with their traditions. For example, a Mennonite might use a phone, but only for essential tasks like work or organizing community events. What's fascinating is that each Mennonite group decides for themselves what aligns best with their lifestyle. This freedom allows them to adapt to the changing world while staying true to their roots. It's a common question: are the Amish and the Mennonites the same? Well, the answer can be a little complicated, but let's clear it up for you. Both groups trace their roots back to the same religious movement, the Anabaptist tradition, that began way back in the 15th century. They share core values like simplicity, strong community bonds, and a deep commitment to peace. But here's where they start to differ. The Amish are known for being much more conservative. In fact, most Amish communities still reject modern conveniences, things like electricity, cars, and everyday technology. Their traditional clothing, simple way of life, and focus on agriculture, family, and community make them stand out. For the Amish, preserving their culture means deliberately avoiding outside influences. This commitment helps maintain their way of life across generations. On the flip side, Mennonites, while still valuing simplicity, are much more open to modern life. Many Mennonites today have embraced technology, live in mainstream society, and use everyday conveniences like cars and electricity. You'll also notice their clothing tends to be less strict than the Amish, making it easier to blend into modern culture. So think of the Amish and the Mennonites like two branches of the same tree. They share the same roots but have grown in slightly different directions, each group interpreting their faith and values in their own unique way. Now that you know a bit more about the differences between the Amish and Mennonites, what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts and personal experiences in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. What surprises you most about these two groups? In traditional Mennonite communities, the roles of men and women often follow deeply rooted customs that have been passed down through generations. The men take on responsibilities like farming, carpentry, and woodworking. Using their hands and tools, they skillfully maintain the land and craft beautiful, sturdy furniture that serves their families for years. On the other side, women are the heart of the home. They master the arts of cooking, preserving food for the long winter months, and creating intricate quilts and baskets that not only serve practical needs but are also works of art in their own right. In some of the more conservative Mennonite groups, women still sew every piece of clothing by hand for their families, investing time and care into each stitch. The only things they don't make are shoes and hats, which are often bought from specialized makers, designed to meet the unique requirements of their community. Let's take a closer look at the unique courtship process of Mennonite couples. But before we get started, I have a 10-second request for all of you. If you can help us out, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll always be the first to get our new videos and exciting content. This would mean a lot to us. In return, we promise to keep making this show even better for you. Deal? In Mennonite culture, baptism represents a pivotal moment in a person's life, marking their official entry into the community and a deep commitment to their faith. But when it comes to courtship and relationships, the customs are just as unique and meaningful. For Mennonite girls, the courtship journey often starts early. At this stage, suitors start by offering small, thoughtful gifts, but make no mistake, this is a far cry from the casual dating you may be familiar with. Every meeting between a young couple is closely supervised, and these interactions take place at designated times. Thursday and Sunday evenings, from 8 to 10 o'clock, are the most common, and the girl's home is usually the setting. As the relationship deepens, both parties carefully consider whether they are ready to make the lifelong commitment of marriage. But what happens if the courtship doesn't go as planned? There's a tradition where, if the relationship doesn't work out, the woman returns the gifts she received from her suitor, symbolizing a graceful and respectful end to the courtship. When a couple decides to marry, the proposal is a formal affair, often involving the entire family. In these communities, it is customary for the bride's father to take on the financial responsibility of the wedding, covering all the necessary expenses. In return, the groom is traditionally given a dowry, which can range from livestock, like cows, to household items or even monetary gifts that help the couple establish their new life together. What do you think about this tradition? Does it surprise you that the groom receives a dowry instead of the bride? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Mennonite weddings are intimate but profoundly meaningful. The bride wears a black dress, which is regarded as both elegant and formal, while the groom, following tradition, is also dressed in black. The preparations for the ceremony begin about 1 week prior, with friends and family. The wedding itself usually takes place on a Sunday after a week of community gatherings. After marriage, the husband is expected to be the primary provider, responsible for the family's financial well-being, while the wife focuses on managing the home and raising the children. But it doesn't end there. The Mennonite community plays an active role in supporting newlyweds, helping them build their families, and ensuring that the values and traditions of the community are passed down through generations. Now, let's address a challenging yet important issue: the concerning instances of mistreatment that have been reported in certain communities. Historically, some Mennonite societies have been structured with traditional gender roles, where men are typically seen as the heads of the household, while women may be expected to adopt a more passive role. Unfortunately, in some cases, this imbalance of power has led to unhealthy dynamics, where any form of disagreement or deviation from established norms can be met with inappropriate responses. For those affected, the experience can be isolating. This can be exacerbated by cultural values that prioritize privacy and internal resolutions, making it harder for those experiencing mistreatment to seek outside support. While Mennonite life is often admired for its simplicity and strong sense of faith, it's important to remember that harmful behaviors can arise anywhere. Recognizing these issues is the first step toward creating healthier and safer environments for everyone. To understand Mennonite beliefs, we need to go back to 16th century Zurich, Switzerland, where Menno Simons, a former Catholic priest, laid the foundation for the Mennonite community. Simons, committed to pacifism and biblical teachings, emphasized a life free from political influence. His key principle of adult baptism, where only those mature enough to make an informed choice are baptized, remains central to Mennonite faith today. Central to Mennonite beliefs is their commitment to pacifism. Their focus on simplicity is also noteworthy. Mennonites shun excessive luxury, emphasizing the importance of family, community, and living a life of honest, hard work. Solidarity with others is another core value. Today, there are approximately 2 million Mennonites worldwide, with communities spread across North America, Europe, Africa, and beyond. Their continued commitment to simplicity, peace, and helping others resonates with many, and their influence stretches far beyond their numbers. What do you find most intriguing about Mennonite beliefs? Is it their commitment to pacifism, their emphasis on simplicity, or maybe their unique approach to adult baptism? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. While the Amish are known for shunning formal education beyond the 8th grade, Mennonites embrace learning as an integral part of their faith journey. They believe that education and spiritual growth go hand in hand, which is why many Mennonites pursue higher education and hold professional roles across diverse fields, from healthcare to business. In fact, Mennonite churches have established their own schools, offering education from elementary through high school, and even at the college level through seminaries and universities. One shining example is Eastern Mennonite University, founded over 100 years ago in 1917. EMU has grown into a respected liberal arts institution, offering graduate programs and a seminary. The university even boasts competitive sports teams that participate in national competitions, showcasing the balance between education, faith, and well-rounded student life. While many modern Mennonite families choose to send their children to public schools, conservative groups, such as the Old Order Mennonites, often prefer schools within their communities to maintain their traditional values. Life in Mennonite communities moves at a pace quite unlike the modern world. From Monday to Saturday, the day begins with dawn, when people wake up early to tackle the day's work such as farming, carpentry, and many other trades. But Sunday? Well, that's a different story. Sunday is the day of rest, no work, just time to reconnect, not just with family, but with the entire community. They gather for church services, where their spirituality takes center stage. Their clothing reflects their commitment to modesty and simplicity. On Sundays, women wear long, modest dresses, and you'll often spot delicate floral patterns during the week. Married women wear black head coverings as a sign of their commitment, while single women may opt for white or no covering at all, creating an easy visual distinction within the community. Mennonite women are not allowed to use makeup, jewelry, or fashion accessories. They also avoid painting their nails, wearing earrings, or using any form of personal adornment, as these are believed to promote pride and vanity. And what about the men? You'll often see them in simple overalls and shirts that are perfectly suited for the demands of daily work, whether they're in the fields or in the workshop. Now, let's dive into something you might not expect: barns. But before you think what could be so special about barns, let me tell you that, in Mennonite communities, these aren't just buildings for storing farm tools or grain, they're the very heart of the community. In Mennonite culture, barns represent more than just functionality, they are the epicenter of social life. If you've ever come across photos of these communities, those massive, sturdy barns are hard to miss. They're not only for agriculture. They host weddings, celebrations, and community gatherings. Barns serve as the backdrop for some of life's most important milestones. The tradition of building barns is communal, where everyone works together. It's not just about labor, it's a community event where meals are shared, stories are passed down, and skills are transferred from one generation to the next. Now, these barns aren't just slapped together either. They're built using traditional methods and locally sourced materials designed to seamlessly blend into the surrounding landscape. Many structures have stood for well over a century, still as solid and functional as the day they were built. When a member of the Mennonite community passes away, it is customary for the body to be respectfully placed at home on a bed of damp sand. The body is carefully covered with a cloth and surrounded by ice to gently slow the natural process. This thoughtful preservation allows for a multi-day wake, typically lasting 3 days, though it's important to note that the wake is only observed during daylight hours. At night, the family and community take time to rest. Once the wake is complete, the individual is laid to rest in plain white clothing, symbolizing purity and the Mennonite belief in the hope of eternal life. Mennonite graves are simple and modest, without elaborate markers or ornate crosses. Instead, a flat stone is placed at the burial site, engraved only with the person's name, date of birth, and date of passing. To truly understand who the Mennonites are, we need to journey back over 500 years, to the 15th century in Europe, a time marked by immense social and religious transformation. During this period, the Catholic Church, which had held dominance for centuries, began to face increasing scrutiny from reformers like Martin Luther. It was in this context that Menno Simons, a former Catholic priest from what is now the Netherlands, emerged as a pivotal figure. Around the early 16th century, Simons, deeply influenced by the Anabaptist movement, decided to take steps that went beyond the reforms of Luther. Simons and his followers sought to live out their faith in a more authentic and straightforward manner, guided by core principles of peace, humility, and simplicity. They were dedicated to a peaceful way of life, avoiding social hierarchies and material wealth. Their beliefs did not come without challenges. The Mennonites, as they came to be known, encountered significant opposition from various religious and governmental authorities of the time. Despite these difficulties, they remained resilient, building close-knit communities focused on their shared faith and values. Today, the Mennonite community continues to thrive, with an estimated 2 million members worldwide from North America to Africa. Their steadfast commitment to peace, service, and community remains a central part of their identity, making them one of the most enduring Christian groups to emerge from the Reformation era. Over the centuries, various branches of the Mennonite faith have emerged, each with its own interpretation of how to live a devout life. One of the most well-known groups, the Amish, is recognized for their traditional approach, choosing to live with minimal modern technology, including electricity and cars. Meanwhile, other Mennonite communities have adopted more interaction with contemporary society, incorporating aspects of modern living while maintaining their faith and core values. However, their path toward religious freedom was filled with challenges. By the 17th century, life in Europe had become increasingly difficult for the Mennonites as they encountered opposition due to their beliefs. Across the Atlantic, an opportunity arose when William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania and a Quaker with a deep commitment to religious tolerance, invited the Mennonites to settle in Pennsylvania. In 1683, Penn's offer provided not only religious freedom but also access to fertile land where they could build new lives. With courage and hope, Mennonite families made the long and difficult journey across the ocean in search of a better future. Upon arriving in Pennsylvania, they found safety and the chance to establish communities where they could live according to their beliefs without fear. Lancaster County became a center of Mennonite and Amish life, where their simple and productive farms reflected their dedication, hard work, and spiritual values. Today, Mennonite communities can be found all over the world, each shaped by its own unique cultural influences, but all grounded in the shared values of faith, simplicity, and warm hospitality. One of the most remarkable aspects of Mennonite culture is their strong tradition of hospitality. Unlike most travelers who opt for hotels, many Mennonites prefer to stay with fellow community members when they travel, fostering a deep sense of connection and trust. A website called Mennonites on Your Way connects traveling Mennonites with hosts who are willing to open their homes. It's similar to Airbnb, but specifically designed for Mennonites, allowing them to share stories, experiences, and build bonds across borders. Imagine staying in a home where you instantly feel like family, no matter where in the world you are. This sense of global community built on trust and shared values makes Mennonite hospitality truly unique. Imagine this: a unique and intriguing game known as Mennonite 6 Degrees of Separation. The premise? Any Mennonite anywhere in the world can be linked to another through no more than 6 people. It's like the classic 6 degrees of separation, but with a more personal touch. Here's how it plays out. You meet a Mennonite, strike up a conversation, and soon enough you're talking about surnames, relatives, or church affiliations. In no time you discover a connection: a shared relative living in another state, or perhaps a mutual family friend you both met at a church gathering. This phenomenon speaks to the close-knit nature of the Mennonite community, which, despite being scattered across the globe, still maintains strong cultural and social ties. Interestingly, this global network aligns with research on social networks which suggests that people are, on average, separated by only 3 to 6 degrees. However, the Mennonite community tightens those connections even further due to its deeply rooted sense of family and faith-based communities. This might also remind you of the broader concept of small world networks, a fascinating field in sociology and mathematics, where even seemingly large communities are connected through surprisingly few links. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next country you want to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us on this great journey. Leave your thoughts in the comments and like to help us. Remember to subscribe for more. See you soon.